Hello, hello. And we try to get some more light up in here. Up in here. Ooh. Hi. Hello. So, I hope everyone is well. Hope that's not too loud, but it helps. So I'm gonna keep it loud enough for me um, to, and hopefully it won't drown me out. I think I should be cool. Ooh, so today is, well, in this moment, I'm feeling pretty good actually, and that's it. Okay. Um, yeah, I think I want to work on another creative project actually. It's been interesting. I have been receiving like, well, I've been doing like a lot of introspection. I have been um allowing my spiritual team and my long line of ancestors, even the newly acquired ones, to just communicate all throughout and within or whatever. And some of the conversations have been cool, and some get like when you start getting downloads and uploads from the spiritual realm, and start, yeah, when you get to certain places, it's just different. So, and this is new to me on the level of actually being aware that it's happening. So it's quite an adjustment and process, and I'm still filtering through some things. And of course, if when the time comes for judgment and a shift, um, and this one was pretty big. Like, you're gonna feel it, period. Like, because sometimes, like, from birth, you acquire some ancestors that ain't really for you getting so far beyond where they're comfortable, right? Like, let's not play games. We have a lot of people that we are attached to by blood or whatever contracts that were made through our bloodline from other um, physical, spiritual, mental connections, right? And when those souls pass over, that shit still is affecting that family and that generation and whatever if they didn't put in the work. So you don't, and a lot of times, like, from one of the visions that I received, like, it's like I went through like a past life regression kind of sort of where, ooh, it got deep, and like I could see, mostly it was audio at that time, but I had like the ability to still see some things happening. And it it was like really interesting on the information that was coming through. And one of the things that I got is that there are souls that have been pretty invested in their physical beings being exactly where they are because it benefits that generation or that family or that dynamic, that system that they are invested in for whatever reasons, right? And so if you don't, um, yeah, so for those of us who chose, or, I guess on some level you choose, like, right? Like, even when shit is happening, if it's fucked up, you just sometimes got to be like, my intuition, my instinct is telling me to go with this level of messed up. So this is the path that I'm gonna take. And in that, like, before you can even essentially really get to a place where you can be free for yourself, I guess, you have to work through whatever generational gifts or trauma or whatever we want to call it, like ancestral gifts, because everybody don't like their gifts, right? But somebody thought it was a good gift, so we'll just say ancestral gifts and inheritances, because an inheritance doesn't just have to be like something beneficial like we wish it was, right? Like people leave their kids to inherit some, in their families and their communities to inherit some. I be trying to keep my language sometimes, but like everybody understand what fucked up means. So, or let me just say, let me try to dig deep into my, well, not too deep, but let me think. Some less desirable, extremely and negatively uh let me see what word, because I had one and then it just left. This is kind of fun. Oh shoot, I need to get me a I had a thesaurus on my phone, and I had a dictionary app on my thesaurus and a dictionary app on my phone, and maybe like a etymology or something like at one point. And I need to put it back and start studying some of my words. Well, I still do that anyway. But anywho, um, but so inheritance can be like extremely undesirable as well for those people that don't want it. Hi, Delia. Is that what it is? Delia. Delilah. I'm gonna say hello. So, if that's not anything that you're interested in, as that soul for that generation, you gotta, as you walking through so much muck, like, and then for some of us, like me, I didn't really have time to go around. Like, I was being hit with so much trauma in my life, I didn't have time to really take a detour. Like, I gotta cut through here because I gotta get out of here. I don't want to. That's not what I want. And so it's kind of like, if you've been there, you've been there. But anywho, I have been just having downloads and just being told and informed and just recognizing through a different lens and very different perceptions of exactly what I've gone through and just processing some things. And then there's a part of me that's like, wow, I'm 42 and I'm here. And that's so amazing in so many ways. And then it's like, also, I'm 42 and I'm here. Like, hey, 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 hey. I made it here. I made it here. Whatever this looks like. Like, and I was there, and that was cool. That was so dope. And now you said this is where I need to be. Well, this is where we at. And let's figure out this new journey. Right? Like, wait. I cleared through all of that. All of that. Like, I ain't got to deal with that no more. Oh, okay. So this means bloop, 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 bloop. That's probably what I should have started off with down there. But it's here. Okay, great. So all that shit, all that, all those unwanted inheritances and gifts and other people's crap that I blew through, that I had to go through, right? Everybody else's stuff that you showed me that I've been going through lifetime after lifetime, that I've been boom, boom, like punching through. All that had a a positive, because they had some like it's yin and yang. So all of those great things, whatever that energy, like, and if it got deposited other places, okay, that's cool. But my stuff is still to be. All right, well, what we doing? We had to weed through. We had to wait for it to fruit. Okay. So I'm like years ago I wrote a that's crazy because like a lot of stuff I have like so much stuff written down. Like, I'm a writer, right? Like, I mean, words. I named my daughter Lyric for a couple reasons. Um and I have a love affair with words anyway. And it's just like, I said something. I wish I could just pull it up. I wish I could get into my laptop. I locked myself on my damn laptop. I haven't been able to get into it forever because I don't want to reset it. I don't want to like lose all of my stuff. So it's just there until I can get the money to get it somewhere else. But anywho, I said something like, we are pretty much blank slates or canvases when we come into this world. It's like, and it's an oxymoron, I guess, because like I believe that children come in here being exactly who they're meant to be, like knowing who they are. And I believe that as a elder, as a guidance counselor, as guide, like, as if you're in the environment and you're attached to this beautiful being, this beautiful gift, or if you're attached to this, like, because they're coming from the other realm, the realm of the living and the dead. And so, like, based off of the stuff from your family and all of this, like, this being comes into here, and what are you going to do? Like, are you going to listen? Are you going to watch? Are you going to, what kind of environment are you going to create, and all of this other stuff, right? So, and whatever you pour into it, it's going to have like some kind of effect to some capacity. So it's like, I inherited a lot of very disgusting, extremely volatile or violent, like a lot of trauma, right? A lot of stuff from bloodlines and relationships and all this stuff. And I did the best that I could. And every time I get through something, or I'm going through something or whatever, like, I look around and I'm just like, thank you. Thank you. Like, there's more that I want, and I've been reaching to get that, and I believe that it's coming. We gon' And also, like, what? I'm here. I am here. And whatever else happens, whether I want more, whether, like, I still have this. I have this in this moment, and I'm going to appreciate it and continue for next. And I don't, in this moment, like, before I got on here, I actually wanted to talk about my daughter. So So in 2005, I gave birth to Lyric Nichelle Jones. I didn't give her dad's name. I gave her my name. And the name that I was given at that boy shit is, I don't want it really, but I gave her my name. And yeah, I gave her my name. And I chose Lyric because her dad was really into music, and I was trying to like figure it out. Like, his son was kind of like a wordplay on Jay-Z, and we was all into the rock at that time. Like, what, Rockefeller Records? You couldn't tell me nothing about Rockefeller Records. I was already into the rock before I met them, but it just was different with the boys. And so yeah, so I was like looking, like going through the music, and I love music and all of this stuff, and trying to figure out like her name has to have meaning. It's got to be special. And this was even after they told me that she was going to be stillborn. Well, yeah, they told me that she would die. She wouldn't make it to full term, and I refused to believe it. And so, like, I still was like, she's gonna, like, what's her name? And I was like, a name means so much, especially because I was essentially forced to give up my name when I got adopted. And I was like 11 or 12, I think. Between 10 and 12. And so, and like just understanding the importance of names. And so I'm like, even though he and I weren't necessarily on the best terms in that moment, we weren't speaking, I don't even know why, but well, I do know some stuff, I guess. Um his like, he still mattered to me, right? Like, it was like, this still her dad. And um and I wanted it to mean something. And like, me being a writer, me loving to write and like words, it was like awe. And it's just kind of, and it was more in depth. Like, that was more deeper than I ever had thought. Like, even now I'm getting like more like revelations on just how impactful her name was, and especially connected to me, and words, and like lyrics are words, and music notes, and yeah. So, Lyric. I don't even think I've watched Jason's Lyric. I might have seen like but I remember thinking about the name. Like, I remember thinking like Jason's Lyric, and I remember thinking like, okay, but I never had watched it. I think I seen like a scene in passing or something. Still haven't watched it. I know it's like a favorite, but I just never, I don't know, I just never watched it. So I was like, okay, like, all of that came to me. Lyric it is. And oh, that's interesting. And so that was my baby. And I'm having a moment where it's like, spiritually, that's so impactful on more levels than I can process in this moment, on so many different aspects. And wow. just as much as I was fighting for her through her name, somebody could have been fighting against me to have her through her name, especially once I named her and told anybody, like, if you are into spirituality or the supernatural, or if you, even if you're not, like, witches and all of that magic exists. So there could have been ways for people to be there are ways for people to be doing things using her name to attack her, to attack me and her, so that she didn't make it to this side of the world. No matter what, no matter how strong I was, my faith was, no matter how strong she was, and all of this other stuff. It could be multiple perspectives. Like, I get many downloads, and I feel like on some aspect they're all true. And that's why I'm a great creator. Because I can see so many. I always say perspectives, stories, truths, realities. But in lyrics, so lyric niche. Well, yeah, lyric Nichelle. And my given name is Darian Nichelle. And like lyric, I was pregnant. I had lyric at when I was 20 weeks. 20 weeks on the dot. And one of the worst seasons in my life. One of them. And she was the brightest part of my world, as well as the darkest part of my world. She was my Gemini. Like, I'm a Gemini, but I'm saying she was my Gemini. She was my twin. She was my world, my reason, when she became my world and my reason. Like, when I first found out I was pregnant, I definitely had a moment where I was like, I should get I don't know if I should have a baby. I don't think I'm not ready for a baby. Like, I wasn't planning this. I don't know if I'm gonna keep her. And then maybe within maybe within a day or even after, it was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I had two men that I was dealing with at the time. And I cared about both of them. I would say that I loved both of them. I definitely had love for both of them. They were both special to me. And I told both of them about the pregnancy. Maybe I could have gone about it a little differently. I don't know. I went about it the best way that I knew how, because it was like kind of a shock to me, which is also, thinking about it, like kind of weird, because I knew from the time that like, if it was, I knew from the moment that it happened that something was different. I was like, he ain't pull. I don't think he pulled out fast enough. Like, I remember having that thought when he pulled out. Like, it's like, or it was so weird, because it was like we were in the act, and then, you know, and then I'm like, I just remember having that thought, and then, like, it was so profound and pronounced and different, because that had never crossed my mind before. And then it was like, okay, and whatever else I thought, and then, like, it kind of went away. It was like, okay, and then I was right about close to a month when I found out I was pregnant. So, and it wasn't me that found like, I mean, I took the test, but it was actually somebody else uh, telling me that I was pregnant. And I was like, what? Why would I be pregnant? Like, I'm not pregnant. What? That's And then like I was like, well, let's go to the store. Well, we went to go pick up her daughter from daycare, and then I think we went to the store, and I got a pregnancy test, and then I took it, and it was positive. And then I think I went and got a couple more just in case or something like. And then I went to the hospital to make sure or something to like made up something so they would give me an ultrasound because that's what people say they do. Well, you know. And then that was it. And like as a pregnancy, I didn't really have any issues. The only time I started having issues was when I started taking the prenatal vitamins. They started making me really sick, and I stopped taking them. And I was just like, if I have to take a vitamin, fine. I think I did the Flintstone vitamins, the kid vitamins. But the prescribed vitamins were way too much. I've never really been able to ingest pills, really. And then most of them pills and medications make me sick. So I used to be, now I really don't touch them for real, but I used to be very careful and very aware and listen to my body. So with Lyric, it was sleep. I was always tired, exhausted. Oh my goodness, my energy was drained. Before I even knew I was pregnant, I was just drained all the time. I couldn't figure out like, and it was different to me, and I just was thinking that because I was in the military at that time, and so we were working like 12-hour shifts. Then I think we were doing like 3 days on, 4 days off, 4 days on, 3 days off. So that was our alternating schedule. And then I was also in school. And I was living in one city and my school was in the other city. So making sure like my schedule matched. It was just like, and then I would be driving back and forth anyway, because like, this is home now, this is where I have my apartment and everything, because I'm stationed here, and then this is home and I'm in school. And so I just assumed that like my body was like, hey, you doing a lot. Like I just was like, it's a lot going on. I'm tired and hungry, sleepy and hungry. Those were my those were my symptoms. And what did I crave? I love spicy, like spicy, which is why I love various ethnic foods. The spicier, the better. Like the flavor, I love flavor though. Like I'll use hot sauce and stuff, and even then, I'm like really looking at the ingredients and seeing what's in it, and I'm very particular about what I eat. But back then, it was the same but different. Like I loved spice. And there was like this Japanese restaurant that I loved, and it wasn't a like being introduced to the sushi culture for Japanese food, like the sushi hibachi culture for Japanese food, was way later for me, way later. When I was introduced to Japanese food, it was similar to like maybe Indian or a Thai or a Vietnamese, or like it was just different. Like it was different than what it became later. in like this one restaurant I used to go to, or maybe Cambodian. Like it kind of, because I love Cambodian food. It kind of reminded me of my Cambodian restaurant that I go, like the flavors and the dishes and stuff. That was the kind of Japanese um food that I was introduced to when I was pregnant with Lyric, living in a different city. And then like the Japanese culture of sushi and hibachi, I was introduced to years later here in Cleveland. So the spices, so I used to go to the Japanese spot like all the time and get food. And then because it was like a Japanese restaurant like on the corner of of my street that I lived in, um when I was stationed in Toledo, because they didn't have, like, we were on post, but the post wasn't big enough to have like barracks and all of that. So we had apartments, townhouse. Do we have the townhouses, condos? I don't know, but they were really beautiful. Um, and then it was the Japanese food, and then it was like the biscuits from, I don't know if that was Texas Roadhouse or what was the other Roadhouse at that time. Who had the really good biscuits? Like, oh, it was Texas Roadhouse, and what was the other popular Roadhouse back then? Oh, I can't remember, because I can't never remember which one of them it was. I used to know both. I was like, I don't know which one it was, but like I love their biscuits and sour cream. Now I'll be looking like, ugh. Ugh. But sour cream, loved it. Ugh. I can't imagine just. So I would like always make like nachos or taco stuff or anything that I could just put a whole bunch of sour cream on. I never just ate it. So let me see. So that was pretty much it. And maybe a little irritable, but not, I don't know. And then the other thing about like motherhood, right? The moment so get pregnant and tell both of the guys, let them know the situation, let them know what's going on from my perspective. And then life started happening. A lot of different life. Like shit got different real quick. Way quicker than I was expecting. Way quicker than I was expecting. Way so much stuff I don't know, like if I had many expectations when I went in and I told both of them, and then, her dad, I said, when I told him I was pregnant and I asked if he wanted me to get an abortion, and he was just like, it's your body. I'm not telling you what to do. You decide. I would never tell you what to do with your body. Perfect. Very considerate and gentle. Towards me and with me. And then we talked, like, stuff was fine until it wasn't. It was the craziest shift. That's all I can say. And I can't even remember like what the shift was. There was so much stuff coming to me about him, and some stuff I listened to. I heard everything. I don't know what I listened to, what I didn't. Some stuff was very hurtful. And then a lot of stuff was coming from his mom, and just because I didn't talk to a lot of people about either one of them. Like, I mean, I talked about both of them because they were both men that I cared. Like, neither one of them were a secret for me. And then maybe they felt like when I got pregnant, I decided to keep us a secret and keep stuff away. And it wasn't that on purpose. Like, shit, I was just going with the flow and nobody was saying anything. So I told him that I would get a paternity test if he had anything, just like if he had any issues, or I would just get one. Like if you don't want to be here, that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but like if however you choose to act during this pregnancy would be however you choose to act. Like, I guess I came in on the defensive, but I wasn't really trying to be defensive. I was trying to cover like all the bases because I've seen a lot of things when it comes to stuff, and I grew up in the hood. Like, even if I'm not involved, I'm taken in. And then, like, I've been to a lot of places, and then, media and TV, and I see it all. So I'm like, I don't really know what our situation is. It just changed. And I ain't found out that long ago, and I'm just telling you. So I'm going to try to put everything out there here the best of my ability so that you can feel included too, because it's your life as well. And I'm gonna do it now before like I really get attached. We can figure this out, and then I can, if I need to go to the clinic, I'll go to the clinic. If I need to figure out if I'm gonna do this without you, I'm gonna figure out I'm gonna do it. Like, just let's have a conversation. This is everything I've been thinking. And then so I was just like, I'll get a paternity. We can get a paternity test like 3 months, because I looked into it. So if it's a thing, or maybe that was after the next time we met up. I don't remember. It could have been that night, because I don't know. But I was like, I get a paternity test. I could pay for it. I'm in the military. I got that money coming in. Like, and whatever. Like, I'll pay for it. I didn't really give him a chance to say much of anything. I just said everything. And then I was like, it's kind of like, what you gonna say? But my eyes was wide open. And then he listened. And he said okay to everything. It's like, okay. And then that was it. That was it. And I was like, okay. Like, at the end of our conversation, I felt pretty good, pretty safe, pretty heard. And I just assumed that he felt the same, because, he didn't really do much. He wasn't a man of many words, but we talked. He talked. He was perfect. Like, but they were both the same and different to me. But anywho, way different. My relationship with both of them were different. And essentially, kind of, they were similar. They were so similar. They were not the same person, but I don't know. I can't explain it. It's why it was so easy for me to love both of them. So I told him, what was going on. I said I was going to cut that. I'm just take it off. I don't know what's happening. And okay, so my bad. So I laid that information on him, and he had a son at the time, and his son was only, I don't even know if he was 6 months old yet. And essentially, from my perspective, he was like the primary caregiver, right? His son's mom was around, and also he had his son the majority of the time, and it was cool, or maybe it was split. It seemed like he had the majority of the time. I ain't had no problem with that. Cause why would I? Ever. As far as I was concerned, he was an amazing dad. And so that's why everything that happened afterwards was so crazy to me. And I didn't understand. And it was a lot happening when I was pregnant. And so, and then I was talking to his mom, started talking to his mom. And then she was just telling me all this stuff about everything. I don't even remember. Just felt like it was so much drama, like, all the time. And I had decided that, and I know she had told me something about like his son's mom uh, was going to make it difficult for him to be a father to our daughter and his son. Like, if he's with you, well, if if he does anything, if he starts claiming your baby, like she gonna take him away from she gonna take his son away from him. So um just keep it quiet until after the baby is born or whatever. And I was like, no. Like, I don't have to keep my baby a secret. I ain't nobody's secret. Why would I do that? I'm not doing that. Like, and it was just like all this other stuff. And then it was just so much. So I wasn't talking to either one of them at some point. Like, neither one of them. Like I said, for me, it happened really quickly. I did go over to the house to take the do the DN to do his swab when I was 3 months. When I was, like I said, I would. And they had sent me a packet from the lab, and I did everything, and whatever. And then with everything happening, and also like I'm still processing being pregnant as well, and what's gonna happen in my future. So looking at everything, I'm also looking around the United States, and I'm like, this environment is not good enough for my baby. Like, we out of here. And that made me start looking at other places, and I was looking at the education system. I was looking at the healthcare system, the crime rates, the culture, language, like all of this stuff. And it was like, if I'm gonna be doing this by myself, then all right, I'm gonna stay here in Cleveland. Cause it was like none of this is good enough for her. Like, none of this is conducive to my baby living here. And then I was looking at my support system, and I was like, I have until like by the time she gets out of by the time kindergarten comes, we gotta go. And I chose somewhere that was close enough to drive back and forth. But I was like, maybe when she like 3 or 4, like when she 3 or 4, I'll be able to leave and feel comfortable. And so I had started saving up our money. Like, I was still active in the military, so I was like saving up. I had my savings for her. Like, it was for us to be out of here. My plan was to have the savings for her, and then like our savings to live off of. And I was trying to figure out how everything would go financially, and like what I would need to do to be able to stay home with her until she got into school, if I wasn't able to afford nobody. Like, I was figuring out how to do the shit on my own, because essentially I was on my own, and I had support and people that I loved. And like, also, I as much as I would want to depend on them, I knew that like everybody has options on what they could do or want to do. And it was never a thought to have my bio family like step in and do anything for my daughter, with my daughter. um my siblings could be around her. I was just like observing everything and just using my experiences and the memories that I had, and just looking around, and was deciding that like my baby, how close she's going to be and how protected she's going to be, and how to make sure she was in the most protected, safe environment that I could get her to, and that would be beneficial for her, and it wasn't here. And once my daughter's father, maybe both of them, because they probably could have both end up being in spirit and in truth. let me not. Like, I'm not talking about biologically. I'm just joking about, because it really wasn't no reason where we couldn't all been happy together. One of them did move though. He moved. He had moved out the state by this time. But so I had seen what was happening around, and I was just like, all right, like I'm in here by myself, right? And I'm pregnant, and got the paternity test, and I told you, and all this is happening, and all this is happening, and all right, I'm be here for a few years, and I'm taking my baby, and we getting out of here, and I'm gonna go to Canada because it's whatever, and whatever I thought about, I don't know if I thought about visitation rights and like all of that. You know, I was really, all the things going through my head was the best of what could happen through everything for my daughter. And it was like I would never keep her dad away from her, and I know he's a great father, so like as far as I know, he's safe, and he gonna do what he can to protect his kid, our daughter. I never thought there was a point where he would put her in a position, even if I wasn't physically here, to where she would be hurt, because I saw how he was with his son and with me, when we were together. So, and other people, like he wasn't really, he was a sweetheart to me. Like, I don't know who he was out in the world to other people, and it'd be like that for most people. Like, I hear stuff, and I get an idea who people are in the world to other people, and then when they come here, this is what they giving me. And so based off who I am, and based off who I see you to be, or who I believe you are, like whatever you are out there, you out there, and then when you in my space, you in my space. And that's kind of what it was. So I was just like, okay, like we gonna be out of here. And I looked at Canada because it was still drivable, and therefore I wouldn't be completely taking her away from my support system and people that loved her, and essentially her family as well. But it wasn't this place was not conducive to me raising my daughter in. That's how I felt. And I think by the time I had her, when I was 5 months, I had about $5,000 saved up, and that was a big deal for me. Like, what? Man. Um, and then I was still like, I'm like, okay, so this one is going up. I'm putting money into this account. You'll get this up here, and then I can start this savings account for her. And then I still got these, and I'm in school. Like, my money flow, like everything, like the mentality that I had was totally different. Everything that I was planning on was going through Lyric, like essentially, like was attached to my baby quick. And I was just like, all right, this is what it's gonna be. How can I make this the safest environment for my baby? The safest, the calmest, the most conducive, the most healing, the most thriving, culturally rich, diversity rich environment for her and me. And it was essentially taking her out of the environments that I have been in and out the country. And then I had her when I was 5 months. Because even in that probably was a lot for her, for my pregnancy. Like, when you think of how we're supposed to be responding, and then if it was opposition, like if anybody was jealous of that or felt any type of way, I already talked about all those spells and stuff, because essentially spells are words, right? And words are powerful. So if people know that I plan on leaving, and you feel some type of way about that. Like, a woman's body, a woman, period, is a receiver. You're going to receive all kind of stuff. And my baby, like my unborn baby, the environment was already very fragile. Already, they were telling me from the doctor that spoke words of her and already introduced some stuff into me and my systems and everything. Um, and not in a, it didn't feel like an informative way. It felt very bullyish, very pushy. And it wasn't like, I'm gonna give you your choice, you know, here or here. It was just like, it was so boom and boom, and it kept coming and it kept coming. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And I was in an environment and nothing was familiar. No people, nothing. Like, it was, and this white man is just, I just came to see you today, and you did a whole lot. You did a whole lot that I wasn't expecting. A whole lot. And you wasted no time putting this needle, doing this risky, as invasive as um, procedure that I didn't ask for, that you told me that I needed after you looked at the ultrasound and told me that something was wrong with my baby. And the ultrasound tech never said anything about anything. I could see she was studying stuff and going back, and she just said what they always say, like, I can't really say nothing till the doctor come in, and he immediately went to, she had an extra chromosome, and I had all these issues and all of this stuff, and I'm just like, what? And then he gave me that, and then he was just like, I don't know. He mentioned me getting, he pushed abortion to me like many times in that conversation. And then he pretty much told me he was going to give me the amniocentesis, I believe. Like, it was so much shell shock happening. I was like, what? And then he's throwing all these medical terminology at me, and he was so ugh, ugh. And I immediately like clammed up and went on the defensive. And now I be thinking, like, what the fuck did you put in like, what was in that needle? Because he said he was extracting fluid, but even in that, like, I'm like, and I didn't even know when I went in later to look at like the procedures for amniocentesis. He did not abide by procedure in law, essentially. And I thought about going after a medical malpractice suit for his ass back then. And I was just like, I mean, I didn't feel like I had the time or the resources, but I wanted to go after that hospital, especially him, badly. Because he was not professional, in my opinion, or too professional. I don't know. That shit made me feel unsafe. He made me feel very unsafe in that entire office, like in that doctor's office, in that appointment that day. Very unsafe, very unprotected. And I was by myself, and I was 22 at the time. Never. That just should have never happened. None of it. And it did. And I did the best that I could, and I fought back the best that I could, and I was just like, hey, it might have been a little too late, like whatever he had done. Like, I probably should have been, I didn't know, that shit came so fast. Like, he said something about an amniocentesis and might have said something else, but I'm so shell shocked over here and still trying to process all this, and you still talking and pulling stuff out and getting stuff ready, and I don't remember. It was so much. Everything was so hurried and so rushed to be in that freaking appointment, that time space. And I'm like, what? And then when he got to the office and he just like, don't, I'm gonna schedule you for another appointment next week, and don't be surprised if like your fetus is dead, or I was like, your baby is dead when you come back. Will be just take. I was like, whoa, like the hell you mean? Don't be surprised. We're not talking about the weather. It's not talking about it being raining. It's my damn baby. Like, of course I'm gonna be surprised. And then he kept saying some other stuff, and at some point I was like, hey, like, you need to talk to me. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, talk to me with regular words. What are you doing? Explain, what are you saying to me? And the whole time I remember thinking, like, a couple times, like, if I was white woman right now, this would not be happening. Like, I remember that being very prevalent. Like, if I was white, this shit would not be happening right now. Like, this is not, like, everybody I know that had all the women that I know that have had appointments, like, their first appointments, this is way out of order. And I thought it would be better. Like, at first I thought, like, oh, this is what they do when you have, like, really good insurance. Because before then, we had, like, Medicare, Medicaid, like the county insurance and stuff like that. But I'm in the Army, and I got TRICARE, and it's supposed to be the best insurance. And I come in here and, like, yeah, you probably getting whatever you can money wise, and you are not, like, what are you doing to me? That shit was horrible. Like, horrible. So, and then I had told her father that, and I just be thinking, like, wow, like, I didn't understand where he was going. Well, some stuff that came to me, I understood. I had a lot of compassion and understanding for some stuff. Like, I understand you want to make sure that you and Jay are good. Like, I get that. He here right now and she not, and I need you. I really want you here because I don't really understand why I gotta be a choice, but it's a choice. So I really can't do nothing but really respect that, even if, like, I'm breaking my heart or you're breaking my heart, because I didn't expect it for real, even though I guess maybe I knew it could be a possibility because I brought all this up in the beginning. And, like, I don't know if that was me blessing or cursing us, or telling us that we wasn't ready, and telling Lyric that we wasn't ready, and from the very beginning. So maybe I did some stuff and said some stuff in our environment and everything. Maybe we was too reckless, and I don't know. I don't know. I know I was really sad, and all I could do was be strong like I always had to be. I didn't know how to not just keep going. Like, and now I'm going for me and my baby. So if that's what it's gonna look like, then this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look like this my way. We ain't gotta be here, and I ain't gonna never keep her from you for real. And what you have over there with your son now, it's gonna be different. But you gonna have your daughter. We gonna have to figure out what that look like. But there's been a lot of decisions made, and I'm making mine, and I probably ain't changing my mind, because now it ain't just about you and me and this. Like, I'm deciding what's best for our daughter based off of all these circumstances before I give you a chance to figure it out. Because all the information got to pass through me, and I got to give it to him, and he got to process and figure it out on his end as a man. And I ain't really understand that at all. Or maybe I did, but it was like you processing through a whole lot of other stuff, and whatever you processing through and whatever your mama's saying and whatever everybody else saying and whatever I'm feeling is not enough, and I'm still trying to make room for you because like I don't think you hate me or nothing. I don't think you intentionally trying to hurt me. I think you probably doing the best that you can with what you have and what's going on. And even if it ain't all true what everybody's saying, some of it is true and maybe some of it ain't. And I don't really feel like I got to figure it out for you. Because I ain't asking you to figure out nothing for me, even if you might feel like I am, or if I am, or I should be telling you to figure it out or making demands. And that's just not, it never crossed my mind. And although it had nothing to do with him, I was carrying his baby. And so it had everything to do with him. And I cut his ass out quickly. And there was still room for him. I might have just, I don't know. And I don't know what all that did or said. And so we were, shit, I was 22. He was younger. He was younger than me. I think he was 19 at the time. I think he was 19. Or was he 20? He was 19 or 20. And yeah. I had really felt like he was doing the best he could. And I was just in a different space. He was in a different space, and I don't think I realized. I knew it, but until I got pregnant, fucking life changed quickly. And it wasn't just about me and him, it was about the baby that we created that he said he was, essentially, he said he was cool with having while we laid in that bed, and I told him I was pregnant, and I took out the pregnancy test and everything to prove it. All of them, I think. And so, and I could have peed on the stick. Like, shit, if you want me to pee on the stick right now, I will. If you need further proof, because it is what it is. And I was honest about, everything. Everything. I don't really be lying about. I'm big on whatever it is, let's deal with it now. Let's not wait until later when it could be a bigger issue. But going back to Lyric, even losing my gift, my, like, she was supposed to be for me. She was mine. All everything that I had went through. This is here now. And so she's mine. And now what? And she was another gift that I was not allowed to keep. And so what did I do? Try to see the best out of it. And I was like, at some point later, probably quicker than most thought was appropriate, but was my reality out of all of it was, I guess I'm glad I don't have her, because I'm looking around and I'm just like, I wasn't ready. We weren't ready, and she deserved better. And she shouldn't have to go through like anything out here that would have touched her little precious self. So her dad, he came back around once, and I wanted him to so bad, because I was like, we deserve another chance. I deserve another chance. I deserve my baby back. And the best way to have my baby back is through you, her father. And I'm quite aware that it will not be the same. It won't be. but it will feel like they'll have your features and my features. It's gonna be kind of the same. So I decided that I wanted to try again with him. Wanted to give us, and it wasn't necessarily I wanted to give us another shot. I wanted my baby. I wanted my baby back. And even if I don't get my baby back, like, it's us. We created her. Do that. So it's a little bit later. Let me see. And you don't have to, now I know what to expect. Nothing. It's maybe what I went wrong at was expecting something from you in the beginning. And if I go in and I know that you already ain't gonna give me nothing because you already proved it, then all right. So you can be my sperm donor then, since that's what you chose to be. But I wasn't expecting you to only be my sperm donor. I'm ready for that now. And I already got a plan. I already know what I'm gonna do. You know, I already know I'm gonna leave, and you ain't got to worry about it. And yeah. And then he came at some point, and I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. And then immediately, it didn't take but a couple of times of us having sex, and I was just like, I deserve so much better. Like, I'm not doing this. What would be, why? Why is this what I'm going to give my baby? Like, I got another chance. And then that was another heartbreak of deciding to let go. To let go of all of it. All of it. That was me essentially burying him and us along with my baby. But I kept her sometimes. Brought her out and connected with her. She's always in my heart though. It doesn't, I carry her with me. She in my blood. You know, I read an article many years ago that said like essentially women carry some of the DNA of like every man that they get pregnant by. So like if you have a pregnancy in you, whether I think it comes like to term or not, the DNA of that man is like, and that baby is now embedded in your DNA code. And I just thought that was like so freaking interesting. Like, what does that even mean? How powerful is that? So, like, essentially, I carry a piece of him and her brother and her and me at all times. And I don't have to always let the world know that. And sometimes I do. For me and for her and for anybody else listening. And out of all the pain, I decided to find some joy in that we didn't deserve her at the time. And also being extremely grateful for the privilege of experiencing all of her. And therefore, in essence, all that was attached to her, because her dad blood still running her too, and he had a son whom he loves very much, who was her brother. Like, for all intent and purpose, that was her big brother. And everything that happened like separated them and everything. And because he was a baby too. Babies are not knowing, and he was around, and he was around. That baby was around. So whatever babies know about babies, what he felt her spirit, whatever connection that they had was severed as well. So essentially, it was a replica of me and my big brother, except closer together. And damn, I didn't have that thought until today. Generational shit. Except I lost my brother up here. My brother lost his sister somewhere down here, and then it repeated. And I guess it repeated when it needed to on some levels. Spiritually, we got that shit out the way early, so that maybe later it could be something different. Because our ancestors have been living, it got to be a sacrifice, right? In that Bible is always some sacrifices, human sacrifices, blood sacrifices, and a lot of times I feel like a lot of them didn't want to pay their sacrifices, so they left them for us. Or maybe they paid as much as they sacrificed, as much as they whatever. Like, I don't really care about anybody else's reasons at this point in time. In this moment, I'm just looking at the parallels between me and my baby. And I'm just realizing that, like, well, not realizing, I knew he lost her, but it did. I didn't know what to do with that. I couldn't hold. I had enough compassion and understanding, and then I was sad. Like, I didn't know what else to do with that. Whether it was fair or not. Whether I gave him enough time to catch his breath. And I even understood when he said that the reason he pulled away was because he didn't, like, if I don't have to feel the pain of losing her, why would I? Like, if I don't have to feel that pain, why would I do that? And I'm like, well, you had a choice. And I did too. But either way, it was going to be painful for me, and I just chose to see it through. I decided that I couldn't live with what if. I had to live with what is. And allow everything else to fall into place. And so if she decided that she was going to be here, she decided that she wasn't going to be here. And we all lost her. But in losing her and being the one that carried her and, went through the birthing and the pregnancy and the fighting for her and the transforming, I also understood that sacrificing my baby when I didn't want to, I didn't plan to, I didn't even think it was an option. Nobody asked me really, did I want to? Like, I didn't sign no agreements to do this. Like, I wanted a healthy baby. And I wanted a family. And there's a lot of things that I wanted for her and for me that other forces decided no. And since that was decided, I said, okay, well, now what? After all the pain and everything, what I'm going to take out of this? That I'm going to do better. That my baby sacrifice was not in vain at all. Like, I went through the birth. I was in labor for 13 hours with my daughter. And I didn't dilate 10 centimeters. I think I dilated like 3 because she was so little. And I held her and I developed milk and experienced engorgement and pain and everything, and so much pain. And when I fought through it, I get to decide how I'm gonna look at this for my sanity. And I said my daughter was a lesson for me, that like she set the precedent so that her siblings don't never have to go through this in the future. Like, I ain't never putting the baby in this situation. I'm never like, I need, like, for my daughter's sacrifice. Oh, we gotta have the best. Her for her siblings. Oh, it gotta be paradise. Why would it be anything else? Like, and she taught me I'm never going through another pregnancy alone again. Because even if I had surrounding support, I felt alone. And her father was not there when, like, I assumed he was gonna be there. And neither was the other man that I loved, and I didn't really expect him to be there, because he get to choose, and it was okay whatever he chose. And then, so I was like, I'm never going through another pregnancy alone. I'm never going through another delivery alone. I'm not raising a child alone. I said I wasn't raising my baby in this country anyway, so she deserved a great environment. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm in a great environment, and that's out of this country, that's out of this country. And the more I look around now, because Lyric would be 19, and I'm like, I still haven't had any more pregnancies, and that I know of. It's been a couple of times when my body was doing something, because my cycle was pretty regular, but within 10 days it was back to normal. Um, and I was just like, so I never had another pregnancy. So that means I didn't have another baby that I birthed out of me. Um, I'm proud of that for me. And I've been trying to stick to that, because I'm like, I sacrificed my life, because a part of me died being pregnant and giving birth to my daughter and leaving the hospital without a baby. Like, how does that compute? But it has to compute. And I have to go through this. I have to just go through it. And like, I want to die. I want to actually, I want to die. And I want to, and this day I'm really going to do it. And I have no means to do it available in my house. And so I live through this moment. I live through this moment. The moment where I'm probably the strongest to take myself out of this world. There's nothing available for me to do it. So I lived through it. And then I was just like, all right, in this moment, since I can't do that, I just end up crying myself to sleep. When I was planning to go get my car keys to go buy a bottle of pills or something so that I could get up out of here, because the pain was unbearable. And it's just like, all this life does is bring me pain, and I always have to sacrifice. And this God that I'm supposed to be, that they introduced me to at this place, is always taking shit from me and creating all of these challenges. Like, what am I doing here? Let's just get up out of here. And instead of getting up and getting the keys, somehow next thing I knew, I was waking up from crying myself to sleep, and ended up having a phone call that changed the trajectory of my thoughts and my life at that time. And that was the only time that I truly considered taking my life. And so after that, it was just day after day, and it was kind of like another, like, I'm forced to be here again. Okay, like, all right, what's here? What's next? But I always say that Lyric, That big sister, she say, okay, I'm gonna come. Like, if I gotta come, I'm come down there and I'm gonna get shit together. So if I come back or if we come back, whatever we happen, like, it's gonna be perfect for us. And so when people would say to me, like, do you want children? And try to tell me that I have to have them way before now, way before I'm ready. I got offended by that often because you're trying to tell me that like I don't need her to have a father around. I'm like, you as a woman are saying, do you want children? Well, daddy's mama's baby, daddy's maybe, and I'm just looking at you like, nah, hell no. Why does that mean? It ain't no maybe. Like, it's his baby too. Alright. What you mean, daddy's baby? He don't get no choice in the matter. Nah. It's like, well, you gonna have to be there all the time. Like, anyway. Yeah, and he do too. He don't get no choice. And if you didn't like how that felt for you or worked out for you, why would you pass that on to me as a young woman? Did you not struggle? Did you want it to be a daddy's maybe? Probably not. You probably wanted a family, and I don't know what you had, but you give me that. Like, that's as a elder woman, as I'm watching different women that come to me and asking me about when I'm gonna have a baby, and I'm just like, I ain't even got no man. Like, I don't have no stability. I don't have no husband. I don't have no partner. And you just asked me that too. So how you gonna now ask me about a baby? I ain't having no baby in this. Why would I be having a baby in this? I ain't doing that. And then why would you try to encourage me to, as a woman who been through the hell you've been through raising a baby alone, if that's what you have? Because I'm looking around and I see a lot of people haven't had babies that were and they didn't like their situation. Like, they would have preferred to have something better, right? So like, nah, I'm cool. Or having, one of the men that I consider my father at a point keep talking about giving him grandbabies, and I'm just like, I had to say, like, why would you say that to me? Why would you tell me? Why you keep saying that? Like, don't say that to me ever again, because what does that mean for you? Like, and for me? Just so you can have bragging rights or something? Or what is it? Because I can't even come to you for no $20 or anything. Like, you don't do anything for me or anything, or in a whole bunch of other stuff too. So why would I have a baby? Stop trying to tell me to have a baby. Like, what you gonna do to put in on that baby? And that responsibility, it ain't just, oh, it's cute, it's fun for now. It's a whole life responsibility. Whole life. And for people saying stuff like, what the fuck did y'all offer me the first time or afterwards, or did y'all send me food? Did y'all like, so what you want me to have a baby for? I don't know. That shit just, how y'all gonna help? You not see me struggling right now? Do you not see how I'm living right now? I was better off financially when I was pregnant with Lyric than like I am now. I was pregnant. I was better financially off when I was way younger than I am now, and I've been trying to fucking hustle and figure this shit out for a long time now. I'm just like, what the heck is the issue? Okay, let me just do what I can do. And it's just been, I don't know. I've been making the best of everything that I can make the best of at every point, every moment. And that's the best that it is, and I'm thankful for that. And also, like, my daughter gave me a wealth of information and knowledge by the time I was 5 months pregnant. Like, by the time I birthed her and after everything. And it was like, essentially, you deserve better. What I learned for myself And my daughter, like I heard something a saying before, like if it's not good enough for your daughter, it's not good enough for you. And clearly, when I was pregnant, I decided this shit was not good enough for my daughter, and therefore decided it wasn't good enough for me. And so I guess that's why I haven't had a baby, because the environment still isn't safe enough, still not good enough, still not secure enough. And when I went back the second time, when I went to when I went to my daughter's father the second time, or he came to me actually, but when I went to him, I let him know that, hey, I want you over here. Like I put out my messages, however I put them out, and he came. And I realized, like, even in that, I deserve somebody that's gonna be there and pamper me and pour into me and love me so, so well with just being me. And in that love and in that pampering and in that space, we will create our children. And I don't want anything less than that. Because I done put in a lot of sacrifices for shit that didn't have nothing to do with me. That I don't even think I wanted to or asked to, or life been way too hard even when it's not hard. Simply because I refuse to bow down to some shit and settle for some stuff, or play by certain people rules and be attached to certain people. Some rules I just don't understand. Like if you gonna help, you gonna help, or you not. Everything has to have an agenda, and everybody, and we all use each other, but I feel like it's levels to it, and the majority, the way people use people, the majority of the time, it just don't sit right with me. I don't know. Anywho, my daughter was my greatest lesson. And in some ways, I guess she was my best friend because we were going through stuff together, however that is. And I bought a fetal Doppler that I wish I would have never let nobody borrow. Like I think I let Nisa borrow it when she was pregnant, and I don't think she gave it back. I should have never let that happen. Never. Like, never ever. That was lyric. Like, ugh. I should have never did that. Should have never did that. Because I kept that fetal Doppler. Because it was how I communicated with lyric. It was our freaking two-way. It was our walkie-talkie. And I don't think I ever got it back. Like, I should have never let nobody use it because I don't think I ever got it back. Ever got it back. I hate that for me. And it is what it is. Like, I had to chalk it up as a loss as so many other things that I've had to chalk up as a loss. But I used to listen to Lyric's heartbeat. They told me something was wrong with her heart. But when I went to university, because I transferred hospitals immediately. But I guess it was too late. I don't know. And they did like a lot of genetic testing and stuff and came to the theory that essentially Whatever was going on with Lyric should not have been going on with Lyric. There was no reason that I should not have been birthing a healthy baby, carrying a healthy baby. But like, I guess essentially I was saying Lyric was my best friend. We used to be talking on the phone, and listening to her heartbeat was like so cool. And I lived in the building with like with Cara and her kids at the time. And we had other neighbors, but like they could hear her too. They would come down and listen, or I would let them listen to her as well, to her heartbeat. And I don't know. And then it was a point where I would feel her. I'm like, is she balling up? I would feel her balling up at night. So I guess she was my best friend because a lot of times it was just us two, and she brought out some of my greatest dreams because my world changed. My world changed once her soul entered into the picture, when she made an entrance into the world from the beginning, essentially. And through her, I always feel like I became a better woman, a better person, a better version of myself. I became more aware of um, responsibility, being responsible and being aware. Because I ain't never really think about getting pregnant until I got pregnant. Like, I guess I thought I was being careful, or that I wasn't going to get pregnant, or that I couldn't get pregnant until I was ready. I don't know what I was doing. And then my ass got pregnant. And I was like, oh, got to be more careful. Okay, that's the thing now. And not only did I get pregnant, I had a whole experience in that I wasn't expecting. And so, okay. And so this next time around, it has to be the softest environment before she even get there. Cause all that trauma, all that shit that I've been walking through was to cleanse my entire bloodline for me. My next, like, whatever come, like, no, 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 no. Can't none of that. I done put in a whole lot of work, did a whole lot of manifestation, a whole lot of prayers, a whole lot of conversations, a whole lot of stuff. So that, like, my womb, anything that comes from here, it's untouched by all that other shit. Like, I paid all whatever dues we gonna be paid to for being tied to all these different bloodlines. And now all we can have is the best. And that's all because Lyric Michelle said hello. And she said hello through when me and her dad met and said hello. And that can go on to my parents, I guess, if I want to give them credit, which, no, I'm gonna just leave it here. But you get the picture, like, and it's crazy because, like, when I think about it, I think my bio mom was either pregnant with my sister at 22 or had my sister when she was 22. See how shit be mirroring? Crazy. Life, spiritual and physical perspectives, what you. Ooh. Ooh. they say the sins of the mother and the sins of the father are cast upon the child. And I'd be like, what kind of environment are you going to create for your child before they ever get here? And even on top of that, like for women, what kind of environment are we going to create for ourselves? Because if it's not good enough for your child, it's not good enough for you, because you hold the keys to them, their entire being, before you even allow the sperm to enter into you. Like, so at what point are we looking around and we saying, nah, it can't be you? What your family got behind there? What y'all got to get through? And also trusting that, like, you are at a place, trusting that when you get to a certain place, because essentially I be feeling like at some point all I can do is become the greatest version of myself. Like, that's why my journey is not about a man for me. Having a man, enjoying a man, and there are many things that I would love to experience with my man or men or partner or partners or whatever the dynamic is. And like and evolving for so long, men have not been the focus. They are there, especially not in that dynamic. Like, I love black men. How could I not? Like, regardless of anything else, I look at it as if I had two boys, because they were placed on my lap when they were babies, and even though they were forcefully removed from me and placed into the system, as we all were, and sent to somewhere else to be raised up, like, I didn't put them on my breast at the time, not to feed them, but to rock them, to, like, and then I had a daughter. And then I had a partner who was my husband, in the form of being a covering, a protector, a friend, my best friend. Like, I had my brother. And then I didn't. And then I still had kids, but not kids. And then I had to try to figure out how to switch the dynamic from, like, mommy to sister, even though it probably should have been sister for a long time, but I couldn't. And then trying to figure out that process. And so essentially, like I was saying, I love black men, because no matter what, I had at least two sons at some point, and four brothers, biological, and then other brothers and other men that I loved or cared about. And I had no agenda with, like, it was never any agendas except for, I guess, to be a safe space. Like, I want you to be a safe space. Like, let's just explore this connection and explore space. And very seldom do I feel a connection on, like, an intimate side, as far as ooh, I want you in my bed, or ooh, I want you in this way. A lot of times it is, for many, many, many years, it's mostly been casual or friendship or acquaintanceship, and the couple that have come through as like intimate partners and prospective partner husbands, it still wasn't agenda. It was like, okay, I see that like whatever I see here could be possible. Like we could probably do this. Let me see what's here. Like let's just be us and see what that look like. Without no titles, without no roles, without no agendas really, not on my end. I don't know what yours is, but just show me who you are. I'm here, you showed up, you made sure that you put yourself in my vision, in my life, in my aura, in my you whatever you did to work to get here, now you here. And okay, I see you. What you gonna do with my time and attention? And I'm gonna do what I want to do with mine, and whatever that leads us to is what it leads us to. Let's just be authentic. And there's something about when your journey has nothing to do with really anybody but you. And you know that your heart and intentions is pure. You create on a total different level. Like, it's a total different life. However, and I may not have had the financial wealth that I desire yet. And I've been wealthy still in many ways. I'm proud of myself. Like, I said I was going to go to Canada with my daughters. And then I end up taking two of my nieces over to the African continent, like in Asia, and like the best that I could, like every time I got out of here. So when I say I'm proud of myself, like I have fought so many wars and so many battles and so much pain, and I come from, like, no matter how I feel, Christianity is what I'm versed on because I went through it and I studied deep. So when I say like so when I reference it, I'm referencing it as a culture for the whatever. Like it's my experience, my perspective, yeah, my perception. And I'm like, when they say Jesus walking with the cross, because there's many ways that we can take that. And when you look at the spiritual and the physical, you can see like all the sins that he carried that had nothing to do with him, and it didn't even matter because he had to carry them anyway as he walked and did life and took whatever journeys that was placed on his heart. Oh, I'm supposed to go up this mountain. Do y'all think he actually always planned to be up there for 40 days to fast? Or did it happen? He might have planned for it because when I plan my fast, when I plan to fast, oh, I got to, especially when I do an extended fast, I do got to plan for that. And also, it's normally like instinct or intuition. My body be telling me, and everything be like, all right, it's time to do a release. I got to get rid of this shit. Like, all of this shit, I want to get rid of it. How do I do it? Like, you telling me to fast. Okay. But when I fast from, I mean, the older I've gotten and the more that I've done is my taste and everything is already different, but I fast from music, TV, like, which essentially would just mean dependent on the type of fast that I'm creating for myself, that I'm way more aware and way more conscious of what I'm listening to, what I'm speaking, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, who I'm around, where my energy is going to, and always food. Because even though I'm a healthier eater than a lot of people, I still love food. Like that is my, what is it called? Addiction, essentially. Food is my addiction and my hobby and all this other stuff. Like food makes me happy. I'm an emotional eater and all of this stuff. Even if it is, I'm gonna go in there and get some fruit or some whatever. Like most of the time, that's why I'm glad that most of the time it's healthier stuff. Like my diet has changed so much since I was in my 20s when I first stopped. I think I first stopped eating land animals at like 24, 25. And then my diet just got different. But I think like, oh, but I was saying like Jesus going up the cross with the sin. I'm going up the mountain to. I was talking about the cross, and I was saying like, do you think that he planned to go up the mountain? I was like, oh, he might have, because I'll be needing to plan that out. I'll be needing to be like, okay, so I'm not like, let me get all this stuff so that when I'm purging, I could just go ahead and purge it all out. So what am I craving right now so I can get it all out? But before I get there, my body and my soul and my spirit is already telling me like everything in our environment that we've been taking it on, there has to be a purge. And then it just gets more intense. So he might have known, or he might have known it was gonna be 40 days, but after so many days, it just be what it is. And then if he thought he was gonna go up there for like 5 days or whatever, and then whatever his journey was up on that mountain that couldn't nobody else see, that wasn't none of their business, because the mountain could have just been um, either solitude, like that's his element. I need to go up here where I feel the most peaceful at. Mine is normally by water, the ocean specifically. But you got earth elements, you got air elements, you got, what is it? Earth, air, fire. Um, what am I missing, y'all? Earth, air, fire. I'm blank. I'm drawing a blank, but y'all know, like, I'm like, damn, why can't I think right now? Literally, my mind just went blank, so I'm about to get off here because I think I'm getting sleepy too. So you have all the elements, and we as beings, a lot of times, are attracted to whatever thing. Like, pay attention to what you attracted to that make your soul happy. Cause the air, I'm air all like, I'm definitely an air sign. The air, like the different changes in the air, do different things for me. So the air is very healing as well. I don't know. Y'all have a good night. I'm sleepy.